Hello everyone, Karen Cecilia here. I am cutting up the last live I did, and I'm going to cut it in at least two particular places. So I'm making two separate cuts in it, and I'm going to provide you with those videos. So this is the first of the two cuts that I am making, and this one is particularly about Joylan Silvera, the man that murdered his wife, Melissa Silvera. And it is important for you to know, and it is important for me to cut it up for you to see it in this small snippet instead of watching the entire 1 hour and 49 minutes of my life, which is important. But this 18 minutes plus that you will watch of this particular video is me telling you about the president's men, Mark Golden men, the men that he has around him, and how it speaks volumes about him himself. Because the people that are around a leader, they feed off whatever character the leader has, and the leader feed off theirs as well. But they want to please that leader. The same thing like how so many good men and women put themselves in trouble for Trump because they were trying to appease his own character, his devilish behavior. And they went all in, some of them, and changed their entire persona. Could it be said that they didn't change? Could it be said that they were or they are similar creatures to him, and it was easy for them to fall into that and say, him asking us to do this thing that is wrong, and we're going to do it because we want to please him? Show me a company and I tell you who you are. It's a true thing. Absolutely true thing. Whoever you're hanging out with, you and them of the same ilk. You couldn't be hanging out and drinking rum and eating food with people that you and them don't think alike, behave alike, act alike. It's hard to explain that kind of thing. There's no two way about it that this is a nice man and this is a terrible person and this terrible person is close to this nice man. How do you square that? You can't square that. You can't square a terrible person hanging out and being a good person to a good man. That no square. So I am making the assumption, and you should as well, that show me a company and I tell you who you are. Mark Golden should not be given power in this country because these are the people that he gravitates towards. These are the people that he likes to have around him, to surround him. These people make him comfortable. These are the people, and Joylan Silvera is one of them. We're going to get to the next video and tell you about the rest of them. But we're talking about Joylan Silvera because he cold-bloodedly murdered his own wife, murdered a woman, shot her 3 times through her vagina, and tried to cover his tracks by doing all kinds of things to cover his tracks. And this guy is the chief of security for Mark Jefferson Golden. He goes out with Mark Golden. He drives with Mark Golden. Check out things for him. Yes, chief. Yes, boss. We got it covered. He's in charge of Mark's security detail. And Mark Golden wants to represent you. You, the Jamaican voters. Because as you are sending these voice notes to, you Jamaican voters. Not just PNP. You, the Jamaican voters. Mark Golden is asking you to support the people that he wants you to support. The candidates which he has put in place that the delegates of the People's National Party and the workers have no say in. Him just put those people in and nobody can say nothing about it because these are the people he wants. There must be a reason for all of that. Go back to another Jamaican thing. Take sleep and mark death. If this is what he does in terms of putting in people that he wants, and then you end up with people like Silvera as his chief of security, then come on, people. We must assume that the people that him pushing on the voters in various divisions are not good people as well. And I'm sorry if them feel bad about that. I'm sorry if they are good people. But if Mark Golden and Dayton Campbell want you so badly, without the delegates having a say about you being there, They were to assume that you are just like them. So all of you people who Mark Golding put in as candidate without the delegates, and the delegates don't want to know, but Mark Golding and Dayton Campbell say, no, we would assume that we're not good people. Look at Silvera. Silvera Mark Golding has around him. That's his chief of security. And he murdered his wife in cold blood. And after he murdered his wife, he called Mark Jefferson Golding and he told Mark Jefferson Golding a lie. And Mark Golding, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Try and imagine somebody calling a very good friend or Joe Biden's head of Secret Service call him and say, boy, Mr. President, my wife died this morning peacefully in her sleep. Do you think that Joe Biden is going to put that out in social media? Do you? Of course not. But Jalen Silvera was absolutely sure that once him tell the leader, once him tell him president I go put it out and that I was set it up for him to be legitimate and that I was set it up for him to get away with cold-blooded murder. Because this is him president and people will believe him president. So him covering himself by having him president put out a lie. And he knew exactly what he was doing. And the president being a nitwit that he is, and because him and Jalen Silvera cut off the same kind of cloth, because him is not a good person, and Jalen Silvera is not a good person, of course that worked. That worked. Him tell him and Mark put it out. So this is the first of 2 videos that I'm doing in short snippets. No more than 20 minutes each. We need to pay attention to who Mark Golding is and the people around him and you, the Jamaican people, that he's asking you to vote for him and to vote for some people that he put in place. You know who those people are. But if you don't, we'll tell you. So please, take a listen, take a watch. I don't mean to take up so much of your time, but take a listen and take a watch. All right? God bless you all. Stay safe, everybody, and keep the kids safe. Thank you. Jalen Silvera murdered his wife in cold blood. Did he plan it? Was it premeditated? I don't know. But I'm going to paint you a scenario. I'm going to paint you a scenario. I'm not telling you that this is exactly what happened, but I'm going to paint you a scenario, and I'm going to tell you how Mark figure into all of this. On the night that Melissa was murdered, Jalen Silvera, woman went there with you how long now? A fear car drive and dog, go political events, political functions, political meetings. A fear car map. Him woman, have a side chick, have a woman, when I keep with him wife. And she was there that night up there. Many people don't know her, so she was just, so maybe she was there, maybe the man will never see her, maybe the man will know her too. You don't know. But she was there that night. Let's imagine that you and your husband is at a crossroads. Leslie died, and Melissa now saw her opportunity to get away from this monster that she was forced to marry. She was forced to marry him by her mother. And yeah, I know the people then will call me and text me now. I really don't care. And she saw an opportunity to get away from him. So she announced that she wanted a divorce. She also got wind of the woman we have up. Because the woman care my drive, because never care for himself. Well, what let's be an understanding. Don't have nothing. Don't have a thing. But that is not the biggest thing about him. You soon know the biggest thing about him. Try and imagine that you're going to take a gun and you're going to center it into a woman's vajayjay. And you're going to pull that trigger 3 times and kill her. Imagine this scenario. It's not the first time him do it. Not the first time. Straddle her. Straddle over her. Talking down to her, threatening her, intimidating her. Running the gun from place to faces and intimidation. That's sick son of a bitch. Imagine that. It's a scenario I'm painting for you. I'm not saying that this is what happened. Don't tell a lie for me. Him do it all the time. That's a threat. A girl will kill you. I want the land. Melissa Silvera has a whole heap of land that her father did give her. Well, her father gave her some land. Her mother also did left some land. And he want the land to go develop. And she not sign it over to him either. That piece of shit. So she not sign on the land. And he want all of that. So the intimidation increased. So every time him straddle her and threaten her, it become more intense. But she not fearful because she has been there before. And so some questions need to be asked. And the police, you know, the police of this country, talk to them about the Powell matter and how they're handling this. They're not giving us any information. What time did she die? Which one of the bullet killed her? Because there's 3 bullets. And when they do an autopsy on her body, the autopsy is not on the entire body. The autopsy is on the organs that makes the body function. So you call him Jesus, the doctor that cut up dead people. They cut open the body and they're checking the vital organs, liver, the heart, the spine, all kind of things. Them checking, but they're not checking everything. And I'm looking for everything. I'm looking what could have killed her. So he has been straddling her. Have that gun run up and down in threat. I want the land. And I'm not getting a divorce. Because if he get a divorce, he not have nothing. Him lose everything. He don't have shit. The pathologist, thank you, Rosie. If Melissa divorce him have nothing. 0. As a worthless boy, when I have nothing. The only thing he ever had was member of parliamentship. And him fucked that up. They threatening her. Shoot her. 3 times. I spoke to 2 doctors who told me that the reason why you'd want to shoot her from the vagina, there's a slim chance because of so many organs and so many things inside of the body that the bullet would make an entrance, an exit. Sorry. Slim chance. That's the best way. So you do have an exit wound and you do have you don't have an entrance wound, you do have an exit wound. You don't know what is it Mango saw. And she's a pathologist all by herself. She look like a jackass these days. And what they did, you moved her from the bedroom. And the questions that some Jamaicans need to ask and the police need to answer is, the time of her death is the most crucial thing that must be answered. What time the pathologist can tell about what time she was killed. And you're going to find out why I'm saying this. You move her. You put on gurgle and all kind of fancy something, which would tighten her skin and hold in everything and keep her from bleeding profusely through her ears and her nose and even from her vagina. So you do those things and you cover her up and you move her to another room. Remember, it's conjecture I'm doing. And you move her to another room. Now we'll reach this part and we know what happened to the room that she was killed in. Him sister and her husband come and them lick down the room and all of that. Yes, him wash the body. Wipe it down and not wash it, wipe it down. I want to be very clear, wipe down the body. and dress her properly. Not even Ted Bundy could have think of those things. And then him call him sister and her husband for lick down the room and dig up the tile. So I want to ask the next question. If the police ask them where the tiles are, where everything is, where them lick down, which part them dump them? Because that's crime scene information. You want to know murder. Where the stuff them there? The most important thing about that night is what time did she die? And the pathologist would have that information. Time of death. Time of death. And we're not talking about Matlock and Angela Lansbury murder she wrote. They're talking about Perry Mason. Perry Mason. Time of death. And Perry Mason going to court and he said, Your Honor, I'm not concerned about what killed Mrs. O'Connor. I don't remember that episode. But it's Mrs. O'Connor. Your Honor, we are not interested to find out what killed Mrs. O'Connor. We are interested, Your Honor, to find out what time Mrs. O'Connor died. Because that will tell us everything we know, everything we need to know. Who up there, when them arrive, who did dead before, all of that will be answered. What time? How did the country and the rest of the world learn of Melissa Silvera's death? I don't know if the police look into that yet. How did we find out that Melissa Silvera is dead? We found out that Melissa Silvera is dead through Mark Jefferson Golding. It was Mark Golding who announced first and foremost the death of Melissa Silvera. It was Mark Golding who came out and put it out at the passing of Miss Melissa Silvera, who died peacefully in her sleep. Mark Golding was the one who first put out that information. Him take it down now, but I'm sure somebody going to find it. The world and Jamaica learned of Melissa Silvera's death through Mark Golding's announcement. The death of Melissa Silvera died from in her sleep, peacefully in her sleep. Mark Golding announced that. So let's go back again. The leaders' men, the president's men, and the president. How did Mark Golding know that Melissa Silvera died peacefully in her sleep? Who told him that? Who gave him that information? Because Silvera gathered all of his people around him. I am conjecturing again. I'm conjecturing because so much people call me already about it. I'm conjecturing that the first person called is Richie Parchment. I'm conjecturing that Richie Parchment was there when him called. The first person to inform them of this death him called was Mark Jefferson Golding. Jyland Silvera, the first person him called was Mark Golding. Come on, people. Police, phone log, timelines, and phone log. Because these are the people who asking the Jamaican people to vote for them. Timeline, call logs, phone. Dangerous thing that phone thing is. Silvera called Mark Golding and give him the information that he wanted to give him, current leader. You know, Melissa just died peacefully in her sleep, and Mark Golding put it out in the world. Silvera gave it to, there's nowhere else he could have gotten it. Nobody else could have called him and gave him that information. He put it out. Melissa Silvera died peacefully in her sleep. Mark Golding sent that out. That's how we learned of Melissa's death. So Silvera call Mark, him call Patch, him call up him parry them. Him want everybody around him so that he can get to cover him scene and cover himself and get back up. Want them all around him to back him up. Because him kill Luma because she not give me our land. And she wanted the vote, she wanted to get out of that now. May I hope that PJ and KD and John Jr. and all of them, Dr. Phillips, may I hope, because them and Leslie and them friends, they were almost like godfathers to Melissa. So I'm hoping them not taking this lightly. And him build that around him. He was like Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a serial pedophile. And he associated himself with princes and presidents and ex-presidents and prime ministers and big business moguls in order to cover his sins. He want them all to be around him to give him legitimacy to rape underage picnic. For Gillian Maxwell to groom them and bring them come to him. And him have all these big friends who will cover him. Silvera called Mark Golding, and Mark Golding was the one who told the world that Melissa died peacefully. And the police questioned Mark Golding about that phone call. Have they seized this phone and look what time that phone call came in? Have they done a forensic audit of his page? Because them take it down. And him announced Melissa's death. Mark Jefferson Golding, the president, and his men and women. He was the one who announced it. But let me go a little further. Why did Silvera call the president of the People's National Party? Because Silvera was not just an umbrella man to Mark Golding. Oh no. He was not an umbrella man. He was not an hanger on. He was not just dead for the right because he have nothing else to go. Silvera is Mark Golding chief of security. Jonathan Silvera, official position with Mark Golding, is his chief of security. I remember out of St. Mary's sister there, the PMP night out of St. Mary, out of Natterby, when they come as sister there, how Silvera walk around the yard like a damn fool, like if man did want to blow a film, they come, Mark Golding, them then blow it off long time, by the time he reach around the back. He's the one that goes to the places that Mark Golding is going to turn up and check the mic, check under the table, and look up at the house stuff, and look for bomb threat, and look for threats there, so I tell them to put up this. You might want to put up these damn barricades, set up that, instruct them to put up these barricades against the stage. I'm not going to get to rush the leader. This was not ordinary, he was an ordinary person. He was the chief of security for the leader. Is him in charge of the leader's security detail? If he was in the Secret Service, he would be the chief Secret Service guy. The CP officers, them were just there because them are police. CP officers are standing around Mark. But Silvera is the chief of security. I him check the place. I him call everybody. Find out how secure the place is. I'm going to behave like him thinks that Mark is the president of the United States and somebody want to shoot him. He was the one who did all of that. So Silvera not an umbrella man. Him just, the umbrella is part of his job. Him is chief of security. You're in a fall, you put an umbrella over the leader head because you're chief of security. And you don't want to give that job to any ordinary smaddy just in case you have to lick smaddy with the umbrella. I can understand, I can relate to that. But him called Mark Golding first. That Mark Golding should announce the death of his wife on social media to the world. To the world. Mark Golding was one who announced that in Kelway. And the chief of security
murdered his wife because she wanted a divorce and because she wouldn't give him the land when he want to start business, and him fuck up every business that him start. If a money bunting give him waste it and squander it. So now he want to kill woman for her land and what she has. And thought to himself that it was a good idea. But these sick son of a bitches always think it's a good idea to kill somebody and think they can get away with it and plan these little things in their head. And Mark Golding must answer these questions. What time did Silvera call you? Did he ask you to put it out, or you just take it upon yourself and put it out? Because you want to be the boss, because you are the leader, the president. And your chief of security call you and tell you same wife dead. And you must put it out. You put it out. And then very shortly you take it down. Why? Why you take it down? We want to know what time that phone call was made, what time Mark accepted it, and that will provide us with some idea of what time Melissa Silvera was killed, murdered by her husband. Murdered by her husband. The president's man, Jailan Silvera.